Welcome back to Citizen Extra. Many thanks indeed for staying tuned. Now, when we kicked off the broadcast today, I mentioned that we are starting our special countdown to the World International Women's Day set for Thursday, the 8th of March, 2018, basically the day after tomorrow. Over the next 3 days, we'll be talking about the rights of women in different sectors and the opportunities and challenges that they experience. Today, we are focusing on the corporate arena as I host the Managing Director of Kenya Breweries Limited, Jane Karuku, to join us on this program today. MD, asante sana for finding time to be here with us today.
Thank you.
Great. As we count down to World Women's Day, which will be this coming Thursday, I want to take you back 22 years to 1995. To the 4th World Conference on Women in Beijing. There was a lot of hype around that. Women in power and decision-making was identified as one of the 12 critical areas of concern. That was in 1995. Can you say that you felt the impact of the resolutions that were made there, and what were your thoughts about that particular conference?
Wow, that's a long time ago. But I think for a fact what happened in Beijing, there was a very disruptive agenda. And I think it came to the fore that we need to pay attention to women development, right from childhood, the girl child, right to the opportunities that the girl child was exposed to. Because if you remember 1995, you've had very few women MPs, you had very few women leaders across the divide. So I do remember, however controversial it was, because I think the other side of gender didn't take it very positively, and I think there was a lot of misinterpretation of what it meant. Some
got worried that women, quote unquote, are going to take over, and it may have been negatively blown out of proportion. But nevertheless, what do you feel were the challenges facing women then, and what do you say are the challenges facing women right now?
Yeah, so I think at the time, and of course as we were growing up, is that there was sort of a disdain of or a prescribed position for a woman. Be at home, stay quiet, don't be too aggressive, do as you're told, don't speak up your mind.
And this was public knowledge.
And this was public knowledge, but also as women, we accepted it. We accepted, if you're, let's say, with brothers, that I'm the only one who can go and cook, I'm the only one who can do certain tasks, yet we are in school together, so my brothers already had several privileges that I didn't have.
Has that changed now?
That has changed, and I think as we are bringing up kids, I think we try and bring our kids as, you are all the same, you have the same brain power, you're exposed to the same number of opportunities, and it's up to you to do the rest.
Okay. Yeah. I want us to get into the proverbial glass ceiling. I even looked for the definition of this. We talk about it all the time, but the definition may have changed. Some dictionaries have defined it as an unacknowledged barrier to advancement in a profession, especially affecting women. What did this glass ceiling look like when you first started working? And is it different now for the ladies who are getting into the business environment at this moment? Okay.
From a personal perspective, I have never recognized the existence of a glass ceiling.
You have never recognized its existence?
Yeah, because I think it works on your own belief, self-belief. It's like if you accept there is going to be a traffic jam, for example, in Gong Road, you try and pass different directions. Or if you accept that Nairobi is going to be dirty, then it's going to be dirty. So I think we have to start from the position of, let's not accept things that are going to hamper our own ambition. So personally, I took that decision a long time ago. And probably because of the way, when I grew up, there are all these opportunities that were presented to me.
Do you feel there are some who use the glass ceiling as an excuse? To say that I can only get this far because of the glass ceiling? I think it's not an excuse. I think it's a perception which comes into a belief. You know, perception leads to belief. So if I believe that you don't like me today, I will say the way you're looking at me, you don't like me. So it's perception. So I think it has to start with the me or the person in you and say, I don't accept there's a glass ceiling. And then, therefore, I go and find out what do I need to do so I can have the same opportunities and the same positions that a man can get, whether I'm a woman. And then don't see yourself as a woman when it comes to career. I want us to continue looking at some of the challenges that face women in business. And another one that comes up, apart from, of course, discussion about the perception of the glass ceiling, is the perception that for a woman to do well in business, she will have to sacrifice family and social life at the expense of then breaking this boardroom glass door. This, according to various studies, remains as one of the biggest impediments. Tell us your story, whatever you feel free to reveal, and how you've balanced through this particular perception. It seems we're talking about a lot of perceptions here today.
I think I also think that's a perception. I think you can have it all. You can be a good wife, a good mother, and a great leader at corporate or even in political field. Personally, I do have a family. I don't talk a lot about them, but I have successful kids and I have a loving husband. But that's me in the personal life. And the corporate side, I am Jane. the corporate person, and both have to work. Because if family doesn't work, you won't succeed in corporate, and vice versa. If you're unhappy in the office, you won't be happy at home. So you can balance it, but you also have to declare to yourself, what are the first things? So I operate with the principle of first things first, and the family is first. Because if I have a good family, I have a good support system that can enable me to go and succeed in the office.
There's no struggle.
You do struggle. You do struggle.
Okay.
Sometimes you even struggle and you feel guilty. Did I do that right? For example, when you're traveling a lot, are you being fair to your kids? Or sometimes your kids are sick and you need to attend to them, and you worry, are you being fair to the corporate? But somehow, organizations are around understanding, and kids and family are also understanding. So somehow you're able to do both right. And
you've managed to find that balance.
I've managed to do that. I haven't said that it's been perfect, but I've managed to find that
What
balance.
would you say to a woman watching this program who says, you may have found a way, but I haven't. I'm struggling. I'm leaning too much on one side.
Where there is a will, there is a way. I think just go to a private place and just try and reflect on what you need to do to make that right. Or even get a coach or a mentor or somebody who's been there, who's done it, to help you go through that.
In a nutshell, to a visitor who's just come into the country, what would you tell them is the state of women empowerment in the business arena at this moment in Kenya? Just give us an overview.
Yeah, I think we've made great progress. I think, let's say 1995, how many CEOs were there who were women at the time? I think if you span the market now, we have very many actually, to the point it stopped being a discussion point. Okay. Because we've broken that glass ceiling and there are many of us. I think the women who are unrecognized, our mothers, our grandmothers, if you go to rural villages now, who are leading in churches?
It's the women.
Who are investing as women groups? Look at our politicians. I mean, we've come a long way, but unfortunately, most are the unrecognized ones. Yeah.
Let me give you some data now to get your thoughts on this. This is the International Finance Corporation, and I don't know whether we'll have a chance to put that up. It says that the report said that Kenya has the highest number of women serving on company boards in Africa at 19.8%. That is above the global average of 15%. I was surprised by this data, MD, because when I look at the political scene, Kenya has struggled to achieve the two-third gender balance rule, but in the boardroom, it seems we're doing a bit better. Why do you think this is so? And I know you sit on a couple of boards as well.
Yeah. So I think you have to be deliberate. So what the boards I've sat in, for example, I'll start with Barclays Bank. Barclays Bank has been having not majority, but almost half-half.
I think it was 50-50.
Women representation, 50-50. EABL as well, 50-50. I was at USIU, more than 50. I think it was 60-40, 60 women. It was so I think there has to be a deliberate effort. And if you look for those women who bring the skills that you require as a board, in corporate or in NGOs, they are there. But you just have to be deliberate about it. And not to have, and for the guys or the guys who are doing the choosing, not to have the blockade, the perception that there are not enough women out there to sit in your boards.
You make it sound so simple. What is happening on the political side that same percentage cannot be found? Do you think there are different challenges on that
I think it's different challenges. I think the corporate side tends to be safe for women because it's less controversial. I think our politics, like, hey guys, is very, very complicated. And if you want to balance for both, you need to be made of, like, I guess, a different type of person for you to get into politics and make the balance right and survive your own integrity as a person. But in corporate, you're able to be a leader, a woman of integrity, who's able to balance both private and corporate life.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, that sounds very interesting. What are you doing in your personal capacity to ensure that in your organization it is as inclusive as possible so that women can grow?
So at East African Breweries, we're very deliberate about women, and we start at the recruitment stage, whether it is at graduate management trainees or people we call the future young leaders of the business. So we try at interview place to slide it more.
So you have a policy?
We have a policy because we have an ambition globally, not just in Kenya, to be 50%, 50-50.
Okay. Can you give us the numbers now, or it's
right
still
now
a secret?
No, it's not a secret.
Okay.
We're just shy of 30%. So I think we're doing very well.
Okay.
And somehow, because of our industry, we tend to be higher women ratio towards the senior leadership. At the factory level, it's still a challenge, but we're trying. At the sales level, we're really trying as well. And I think maybe it's specific to our industry, but I can guarantee you in a few years' time, we are going to be 50-50.
In a few years' time?
In a few years' time, yes.
I want to get into the sensitive topic of wage inequality.
Yeah.
Globally, the gender pay gap is, in a nutshell, for women make 77 shillings for every 100 shillings that men make, and there could be different statistics. Is this something that you've had to deal with as you've risen up the corporate ladder? Let me give you an example. You know, you're working with a colleague in the same position, and you know he earns more, and you have no idea why.
Yeah. So generally, in at least places I've worked, we have wage guidelines, and when we hire you, we don't think Wahiga is a man, or Wahiga is a lady, and therefore you have different paycheck. We actually use the guidelines, and it's up to the recruiting person and the manager in charge to make sure that there is no discrepancy, because it's just unfair. And as businesses I've worked with, it's not acceptable. Yeah.
What will it take to reverse? I mean, it's good what's happening in your organization, but globally it's different. I mean, we saw last year the BBC, women came out demanding an apology over salary differences, culture of discrimination. What can be done to reverse this?
Yeah, I think first of all it starts with the woman. I think as a woman, at some positions you have to negotiate your pay. We know women, we are not tough negotiators like guys are. Because
not all of them.
Yeah, not all of them. Not all of them, but mostly. I mean, we are talking about statistics. I think most of them. Because you go into a job, you think about what you want to offer rather than what you want to get out of it, which is a very woman thing, because I think our DNA is to take care of people, while a guy will go there probably thinking, I am better than they think I am for this job. A woman goes in the job thinking that differently.
Maybe that has been let me prove myself first.
Yeah, so because you're thinking, gosh, I'm a woman, I'm going to do that job, but I really want to do that job before you think about yourself. But a guy, even in an interview, and we say it, they're always overconfident. I am better and bigger. Yes, we do that. I'm bigger and better than you guys you think I am. While the woman is like more reflective and more, I am going to do this job very good for you. Yeah, so I think there is also something as women we need to come out of and always think, and it's about belief. Okay. That I'm actually better at this job than they think I am. I think I'm better, and I'm going to prove it. I feel like you're challenging
women watching this program.
I'm challenging
to walk
over
to the HR directors right now and...
Yes, I think the other thing I always talk to women is that when there is that new role in your organization, the man knows that there's going to be a vacancy and goes for it before the women do. Okay. So I'm challenging the women in corporate world, certainly, or even in the political field. Put your best foot forward up front. Okay. MD, let's take a quick break. I want to take our viewers to Kenyatta National Hospital to just listen briefly as consultants talk about the